And we are almost done with this tutorial series over your essay writing, and I need to take a few minutes here to talk about academic honesty. And when I'm speaking to you today, I am referring to plagiarism. And I know I have said a few things about this throughout the tutorials, but I cannot be clear enough about my expectations with plagiarism. So this little screenshot that you see here is actually from your syllabus. The majority of you all had your parents sign your syllabus and you signed your syllabus yourself, and you turned it in to me at the beginning of the year. The understanding is that given the syllabus, you know the rules and you know what you're going to be held responsible for. Now, if you did not sign the syllabus, that does not mean that the expectation is different for you. As you are a part of this class, this policy is going to apply to you whether you signed the document or not, just to be clear. So I want to review what it says here. This, again, is what it said in your syllabus at the beginning of the year. But it is very, very important that we go over it now before you turn in your essay. So let's just go over this word for word. You must do your own work at all times. Plagiarism is a serious offense and it will not be tolerated. If your work on any assignment is curiously similar or identical to another student's work, both parties will receive a 0 on the assignment. You will not be able to resubmit or revise the assessment or writing, whatever it might be. Furthermore, if a paper or other written assignment resembles an online source, the assignment will receive a 0. You will not be able to revise or resubmit that paper. And so we're going to talk about what plagiarism is, just to be clear, but I think you guys have an idea if you're taking ideas that are not your own and you're trying to pass them off in your paper. Even if it's just one paragraph of your paper, your whole paper is going to receive a 0, okay? And I know we have our revision policy, but in this case it doesn't apply. Because you have been educated on what plagiarism is, if you actually plagiarize, then you will be held responsible for that and you will not get credit in your writing. You'll get a 0, okay? So just to clarify what plagiarism is. First, it is when you use phrases, quotes, or ideas that are not your own. Okay, even phrases, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a phrase that you took from one of the articles but you didn't quote it, that's plagiarism. Next, if you paraphrase the work of another, even though you may have changed the wording or the syntax, that means the sentence structure. Okay, so paraphrasing means you put it in your own words, but if it's not your idea, it doesn't matter if you put it in your own words. Of course, you can paraphrase it if you attribute it to the source, but if you're not attributing it to the source, it's plagiarized. Okay? Next, you use facts or data that are not considered common knowledge. So if there is something common knowledge, okay, like some people, I think in their essays are talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Everybody knows, okay, where that comes from, and that's common knowledge. But if you're using something that comes from Pew Research, like we talked about, the articles that you all have read, that data has to be attributed to that article and to Pew Research, the organization. Moving on. You submit a paper written for another class. Okay, so this one is one that surprises students a lot. If you have previously, in a previous class, talked about the American Dream before and you want to recycle your essay, that's not a good idea. You need to make sure your ideas are new, they're fresh, that they're written for the particular prompt that I gave you. Next to last point. When you submit a paper from an essay service or agency, even though you may have paid for it, just to be clear, these essays are not good quality, okay? You're not going to get your money's worth if you've paid for that. Some of you may not have even known that these agencies existed, but it's going to be very, very clear if I see an essay from an essay service that it's not your writing. I've seen your writing. I know your all style. If you turn in something that is not coherent with your style, it's going to be very, very obvious. Moving on to the last point. You submit a paper by another person, even though that person may have given you permission to use it. Okay? So the point here, guys, is everything has to be in your voice and all of your sources have to be cited. If you all have any questions about this, you guys know how to get a hold of me. And hopefully this clarifies some things for you. Okay, Talk to you soon.